Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with your daily update for the Ethereum technicals and Solana. Before we get into it, I want to say that at this point we have a schedule change from previous videos, where now we only do these Ethereum and Solana videos Tuesday to Friday instead of Monday to Friday. That just helps us with the workload over here. Today though, we are updating the weekly charts for you. On the Ethereum weekly chart, price has consolidated within resistance up at 4130 and support around 2800 for the short term, increasing after finding support at 2800 and just finding resistance around 3580. Volume overall supports upwards movement with strongest volume on the bullish candlesticks, though some pushes on the recent bearish candlesticks sees a little bit of support for short-term downwards movement. On balance, volume moving within a wide range, currently giving no signal, though as it moves lower it may find support here at this support line. If it breaks below that support line, it will give a bearish signal, and if it reacts to support and moves up and away, it will give a bullish signal. ATR overall increasing along with price declining as price consolidates, giving a bullish outlook for volatility at this time frame. As ADX is declining for this weekly chart, we use stochastics and support and resistance, though at this time frame we use the daily chart for short-term price fluctuations. Stochastics at this point neutral and declining, having entered overbought where price found resistance previously at 4130. On the daily chart, we can see some more detail where price has increased after just falling short of support at 2720 with this piercing pattern here, increasing, then declining, and now moving around support resistance at 3200 for the very short term. On the daily chart, volume supports downwards movement with strongest volume on these bearish candlesticks. ADX now declining, showing no clear trend. On balance, volume moving within a very wide range, currently giving no signal, though as it nears this support line, it may give a bullish signal as it reacts to support and moves away, or a bearish signal if it moves below this support line. ATR overall declining along with price, now increasing at this point along with price, giving a bullish outlook for volatility at this time frame as well as the weekly chart. And stochastics neutral and declining, having previously found resistance where price just fell short of its resistance point, up at 3680. The model of stochastics and support and resistance suggests a downward swing may continue towards support around 2720, where price may find that support point and stochastics enters oversold. Though as has previously happened, stochastics may fail to enter completely oversold where price finds that support point, seeing a downward swing to be a little bit more brief and shallow. On the Solana weekly chart, primary wave 4 is labeled complete just here, with price now increasing for the beginning of primary wave 5 and the end of cycle wave 3. Cycle wave 3 has a target calculated at 2887, where it would reach the 11.09 extreme Fibonacci ratio of cycle wave 1. And if primary wave 4 does continue any lower, it may find support at the lower edge of this Elliott channel. The Elliott channel drawn around primary degree movements using Elliott's first technique from the end of primary wave 1 to the end of primary wave 3 with a copy on the end of primary wave 2. If primary wave 4 does continue any lower and moves below this channel with a full red candlestick below and not touching at this time frame, then primary wave 4 cannot move into primary wave 1 price territory at 26.4105. This low with the end of primary wave 4 on the weekly chart. Is this low on the daily chart? With this most recent upwards movement, we have invalidated the double zigzag wave count, and the alternate, which you will see in a minute, has also been adjusted. With the strength in recent upwards movements, particularly with these strong bullish candlesticks as price has broken above this Elliott channel, supports this wave count and sees upwards movement to continue with increasing range and momentum. This Elliott channel drawn around the intermediate degree movements from the start of intermediate wave A to the end of intermediate wave B with a copy on the end of intermediate wave A. Intermediate wave C has fallen short, and as primary wave 4 is labeled complete here, intermediate wave C is truncated by 2.7951, where it fails to move beyond the end of intermediate wave A by that much. This upwards movement now labeled a complete minor wave 1 and potentially complete minor wave 2 just here, now increasing for minor wave 3 within intermediate wave 1 of primary wave 5. As price continues to unfold, minor wave 2 may continue a little bit lower. If that does happen, then it cannot move below the start of minor wave 1 at 122.5794. Though with these multiple candlesticks above and not touching this Elliott channel, there is additional confidence in this wave count, seeing upwards movement to continue. And on this daily alternate chart, this wave count sees primary wave 4 as an incomplete barrier triangle, currently within the very early stages of intermediate wave E. With these most recent upwards movements, the end of intermediate wave D is labeled complete at this last high here. This wave count still remains somewhat valid as the BD trendline is overall flat, though if price does make any high above this end of intermediate wave D at 193.6182, the BD trend line will have a more expanding fit and will invalidate this wave count. As intermediate wave E continues lower, it can only subdivide as a single zigzag. It may fall short of this AC trend line, as is common for barrier triangles, and it cannot move below the end of intermediate wave C at 122.5794, as is the rule for barrier triangles. Please note that as price continues, this wave count may be invalidated in the near future due to low probability. On the technical weekly chart for Solana, price has consolidated within resistance up at 210 and support around 127 and 118 for the very short term, increasing after finding support around 127 and increasing now, finding resistance around 190. Volume supports upwards movement with strongest volume on these bullish candlesticks here. On-balance volume has no new range at this point, though it does have this support line with now 3 tests. Stochastics neutral and increasing as ADX declines at the weekly time frame. We use the model of stochastics and support and resistance, though at this point we use the daily chart for short-term price fluctuations. On the Solana daily chart, price has increased after finding support at 127 with this doji candlestick just here, hovering around these support points at 157 and 175 now, finding resistance at 190 with what is labeled a bearish engulfing pattern where this candlestick encompasses the entire previous candlestick after this last increase just here. Volume overall supports upwards movement with strongest volume on these bullish candlesticks just here, though a push on various bearish candlesticks sees some support for downwards movement, and a decline on this most recent candlestick labeled the bearish engulfing pattern does not support the candlestick pattern. ADX continues to increase with a bullish trend that is not yet extreme and not in danger of ending. RSI neutral and overall increasing, having just failed to enter overbought where price found resistance previously. Money flow neutral and overall increasing, though with an overall lower slope than RSI. It has quite a bit more room than RSI before it may enter overbought, and additionally neither RSI or money flow exhibit divergence at this time frame. ATR steadily increasing along with price, giving a bullish outlook for volatility. And as previously mentioned, as this bullish trend is not extreme and not yet in danger of ending, this expects price to continue upwards at this time frame to where ADX may reach extreme or very extreme conditions. RSI may enter overbought and or exhibit divergence before the trend may be in danger of ending. That's all for me with your daily update for Solana and Ethereum. As always, if you want the Ethereum Elliott Wave count, we have done an update for that today. You can sign up for that today at pureelliottwave.com using the link in the description below. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a good day.